So I'm just wondering that because you got a lot of followers, which means maybe now you can influence more people than in the past. So do you ever feel hesitate to share your thoughts before blog?
It changes all the time. My relationship to it has changed since I had this baby. And, you know, the big rule that I learned in the early days of my blog and in social media, because I've made those mistakes, is like doctors have this main rule in the medical community. Rule number 1, do no harm. You know, don't talk shit and don't use these tools to hurt anybody and don't put anybody down. And, you know, if it's not your story to share, don't share it. You can only share your own story. And, you know, I'm learning that lesson always over and over and over again. And my relationship to my blog and social media and how I can use it to learn and to help people and to connect changes every day. And it changes depending on the platform. You know, when I switched from, you know, only using Twitter to using Facebook, I went over to Facebook with all my rules about Twitter and I got completely confused because the etiquette is different and the way people talk is different and the way people share is different. And I spent a couple of months just learning the ropes. And so, you know, once again, it's not like there's any set rules. It's a giant ocean of human communication and you're sitting there going, oh my God, how can I use this today? How can I help people today? What can I say that has relevance today? And how can I be a part of this big conversation and not just like flapping my mouth off, you know, without listening? Because it's always about listening, and that's the only way you're actually capable of adding something worthwhile. Like, he's just going to join us for the interview here. Yeah. You know, for every story of a Kickstarter going incredibly well, there's a story of the Kickstarter that never got fulfilled, and the person, and I write a lot about this in the book. And you know, the best way I could think of writing about this in the book was to, oh my God, he has the hiccups. Kind of awkward. The best way I could think of it was to just give some examples of Kickstarters that failed, but how the people dealt with them was the big question. And the rule seems to be Kickstarters can fail as long as people communicate. And if you communicate, I'm so sorry that this happened, but here's why. This is what I'll do instead. This is how I'll fix it. We're just a bunch of people. Here are the problems. How do we address the problems? The artists and the people who communicated, it was all fine. It was the artists who like fled and never said anything that screw up the ecosystem. Because the people who are helping the artists to communicate are like, oh, we understand. That happened. Okay, that's fine. Thanks for telling us. Now what do we do? And the artists who just disappear leave a wake of people going, where did you go? What happened? Why aren't you talking to us? You know, we see that there was a problem, but all you had to do was wave your hand and say, hey, there was a problem. So much of it is just about how things get communicated. It's not necessarily that people didn't get their record or didn't get their poster or didn't get their film. It's, did they feel connected? Did they feel respected? Did they feel included? And as long as people feel connected and included, everything's always fine. It's the minute people feel disrespected and unincluded that the shit hits the fan. And you have people going, well, I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to support another person's Kickstarter if they're just going to drive off to Mexico with my money.
So
Hiccup.
Is
Hiccup.
Is he okay?
Hiccup.